No last names either. So,
Rise up, the sounding nights, the air. District 4, we're breaking free from there. Screaming loud, screaming raw. From Greenwich and Westport in District 4. You are here to be the changer in this war.
And good evening, everybody. We're live here on Facebook on Friday night, August 21st.
yeah.
Courthouse
Well,
Media
here we
Center.
are.
Myself, Jason Douglas, here with Common Sense News Entertainment.
All right.
And here we are with our little new theme music and
Okay,
everything.
is that a campaign song?
No, that is actually WCFR, Connecticut Free Radio, District 4, Connecticut Free Radio, Greenwich
District
Free
4,
Radio,
Connecticut Free Radio.
WCFR.
You better tell the guys in the race. I'm not sure Jim Himes will be pleased.
Oh,
We don't care about Jim Himes.
Just saying. He's
Yeah.
going to be opening his big yap any day now.
Why?
Why?
He ends up saying
saying
the same things over and over again.
Yes, yeah. It keeps.
Well, anyway, so welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this evening forum. We're streaming on my Facebook account. We're also live on Yankee T News on YouTube, and Jason Douglas. We're Connecticut News and Connecticut
Common Sense News and Entertainment.
Common Sense
We're
News,
also on
and
live on
Entertainment.
Facebook on my account as well.
and we're also live on Facebook. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome.
So,
So why don't we
where-
cover the topics
thing
of
is,
discussion
well,
we
first-
wanted
decibel,
to?
Are there
Court's
others?
decibel level for me is like a 0.5. I can barely hear him.
Okay.
It's like
I can hear him fine.
yeah, I don't know why I can't, but
Well,
I have
maybe
my
you'll have
volume
to.
I have my volume maximized. But
Maybe you'll have to leave it to me to translate. In the event that you said, like, what did he say? Anyway,
Yeah, I can hear him
one of
barely. Let's do
the
this.
topics of discussion that I wanted to cover this evening were specifically we're going to cover regional, statewide, regional, and we're also going to cover some national news as well. We might even get into international news, but why don't we start off with the regional, the gubernatorial race in the state of Connecticut. We have the incumbent Ned Lamont that most of the people that I've talked to don't really like. Of course, depending on which echo chamber you find yourself in will determine, you know, whether you like Ned Lamont or you don't like Ned Lamont. We had discussed in one of the other podcasts that Ryan Fazio, who is the Republican hopeful to defeat Ned Lamont, there has been talk that he's essentially kind of like another Bob Stefanowski minus 30 some odd years. So, any of you guys want to chime in on that particular point?
well, first of all, we don't have a counter and there's no chat feature.
Well, I do. I mean, I can see what we got going here. Yeah, studio chat. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, okay. Public chat. Dr. Ricky Smith is going to be joining us in 5 minutes.
Okay.
He is gotten into the public chat on YouTube. So he said he will join us in about 5 minutes. But anyway, aside from all of that, can we just let's try to fixate on the
See?
yes, at least on that topic of discussion for the next few minutes anyway.
yeah, I would say that Ryan Fazio is. Don't be surprised if Ryan Fazio wins and becomes the next governor of the state of Connecticut. That
No,
would
I
not-
probably wouldn't.
would not surprise me at all. But that doesn't mean we should all shout 3 cheers, hooray, hooray, that we flipped it to state red or anything like that. It just means that Fazio got in, and if Fazio gets in, it's because the pundits want to placate the discontent of the voters to make them feel like they have somebody on their side in the governor's mansion. When really, in reality, we all know that it's not going to change a thing. That Fazio is not a reformer. It's not going to change anything that helps the state's momentum and slide.
That's a very good point, actually. And it kind of speaks to a lot of the things that we've been talking about. In my humble opinion, I think Ryan Fazio is a candidate who basically changes his mind according to whichever way the political wind happens to be blowing at the time. I don't, and I've said this before, I'll say it again. He's not somebody who I believe is ready for prime time, but I think that perhaps maybe there may be enough desperation in the state of Connecticut just to see a new face on many of the same politics and ideas. Court, were you able to review any of Ryan's voting record, and were you able to take a look at that sort of caveat
Yeah,
about his?
thoroughly confusing. So, Freedom House is the name of the organization, and they're the ones who gave him an F because he has a 47% level on the things that the Freedom House considers, measures of constitutional fidelity to citizens' rights. So that alone is bad enough. It was the nature of the votes were not clear. I think he's soft on abortion. He I understands how to vote concerning the affordability issues. There was some other weird thing it was double talk in terms of what it involved. So I really think in terms of what I've seen, and by the way, the information they had was very incomplete. It was like 5 or 6 votes out of however many votes he's made in how many years he's been in office. So they
Right.
It's a little piece, not very useful. So, but so you step back and you look at him and you say, this guy just doesn't, too much Clark Kent and not enough Superman.
Do you want to add anything to that, Jason?
Well, he's a weak leader. He doesn't have any reformer in him, and that's why he's okay with those that we're fighting against, the elitists and the pundits that we're fighting against. They're okay with him getting in because they know, sort of like a Mitt Romney on a Connecticut level, or John McCain even, where just a guy okay, if he gets in, he's not gonna threaten our Marxist march in Connecticut or whatever. And yeah, his voting record stinks.
Yeah, I believe, and we talked about this before, and it does bear repeating that the so-called energy bill that was voted on, in other words, this push towards the Green New Deal and all of the components of that during the Biden administration. I don't know if Trump had already been elected or if it was just before the election, but he did vote on a bill. I think was it SB 10 or was it SB 4?
This is the housing bill?
Well, no, it was energy bill about this is one of the things that led up to. Now, I mean, I stand to be corrected if I'm wrong, but the research that I've done has implicated Ryan and a whole host of other Republicans in the state of Connecticut with respect to voting for an energy bill that has kind of slow walked us into this, the public benefits charges and all of the other things. And so then what he does is he votes no on another bill, which is sort of intended to sand the rough edges of the bill that he voted for, right? So that he could come out and publicly say, well, look, I voted against this. Well, ignoring the fact or not taking responsibility
There's always a reason.
or culpability for the bill, for the stuff that got us here in the first place. Right. And this is what politicians do. And we've talked ad nauseum about how in the state of Connecticut, it seems like the candidates are more concerned about, and of course this goes back to Ben Proto, who seems to be more concerned about how much money candidates can raise rather than what types of policies they intend to put forward. and this kind of speaks to another thing that I'm discontented about with Ryan Fazio, is that a lot of his politics are reactionary and not resolutionary or revolutionary, if you will.
Interesting.
So,
Yeah, that follows with the poor image that he presents when it comes to leadership.
right. And this sort of speaks to the point where he is now, since it would appear that he has since begun to adopt, maybe somewhat superficially, some of the policies that Betsy McCoy, the other gubernatorial hopeful who had to bow out of the race because
Got
apparently, Yeah.
You don't know. Okay, none of us knows whether or not Betsy and Brian have been talking.
that's not what I'm saying.
Well,
What I'm saying, what I'm saying is that she apparently, the information that I got, and I stand corrected if I'm wrong, but it's been alleged that she had the delegates to go to a primary, or to primary Ryan Fazio, and I think the little birdie that I heard from said something to the effect that Mr. Proto was instrumental in basically twisting the arm of the delegates who had already signed on to Betsy to switch and then throw their support in for Ryan
Let's see.
to avoid a
Okay.
primary.
All
Right,
so
right.
I'm sorry, Eric, but you're dragging out a description of something that happens in every single convention.
Well, I'm not talking about every single convention. I'm talking about the one. I'm talking about the one that just happened. I'm sorry that
It's not special.
I'm sorry that irritates you. So
Well, the way you portray it, this crap has been going on time immemorial. I will take you back to 2010 and Rob Merkel, who was running for Congress, and he got screwed the exact same way in the Republican convention.
So what? So the fact that it's been going on for a long time makes it okay?
Not at all.
Okay, well then that's
Not at
what we're
all.
talking about. This last one was particularly egregious.
I don't
Betsy went there
think so.
thinking she was going to get at least 15%, and there was a lot of arm twisting that went on. Yes, I know it happens every time, but it doesn't make it right. And when something needs to be done to change it.
oh, okay, so court is doing a lot of hand wringing over here. So I would ask.
But we
Hold
know-
on,
we're
but I would.
here.
I would.
know.
So I would ask you to provide at
Lenny
least.
agrees with me.
So I would ask you to provide at least 2 examples of prior election cycles where a similar set of circumstances occurred before a primary. So the floor is yours, and please feel free
Bob
to
Merkel,
opine.
2010, okay?
Okay.
And for what it's worth, even though he screwed himself, this guy named Wolf, who was running for the Senate, and when he got to the convention, he got screwed too. Okay, it's the same thing. It's in the same.
Okay. Now the second question is, who was instrumental in your opinion or in your mind that was instrumental in allowing that to happen or occur?
In each case, it would have been the same job title, chairman of the party. Okay, he's there to hack off legs and arms as he sees fits.
As he sees fit, right? Yeah.
Exactly. This is political reality, and it happens every time. And
Right.
It's awful. It shouldn't happen. There should be a law against it, as far as I'm concerned. But
Well, see, it occurs to me, and this kind of goes back to, the whole situation between Jonathan DeBarros and Chris Shea, between Ryan Fazio and Betsy McCoy. So I would think that if the Republican Party is the party that purports to be above board and fair and all about fair play,
It's not.
then I'm just saying, as a matter of fact, because this comes back to representing your constituents and not your ego. And so what I'm basically the point that I'm trying to put forth here is that it should have been incumbent upon Ryan Fazio and or Chris Shea to, well, let's just say in this case Ryan Fazio, to say, look, I'm fine with having a primary, And if Ben Proto was, I mean, he should have gone. Well, I mean, there's a whole things he coulda, shoulda, woulda. First of all, the whole Aaron Stewart thing and how Ben Proto could not have known that Aaron Stewart had all those skeletons in her closet. That's one thing. And then the second thing is how could I mean, if Ryan is above board as he purports to be, how could, why didn't Ryan say, like, look, stop trying to fix the, to put your finger on the scales, and let's have a fair outcome of this. That's leadership, okay? It's not this, which is what it seems to be. It's my turn. It's my time. Yada yada yada. So that's what it seems to be, but it's not. And
I'll give
So
you,
when you say that this happens every time at all these conventions, you're
I
talking
have
about
more
Connecticut.
examples, by the way.
You're talking about Connecticut. You're not talking about like the national conventions. This doesn't happen.
Oh, God.
There's a true
All right.
delegate vote.
No, the real issue is the state conventions. No, once
Right.
you get to the national convention, that's a whole other story.
Correct.
But in the case of the state conventions, you don't know the story of what happened in 2008 in Texas, okay? And Eric, you would have stories to tell about how Ron Paul got screwed in Maine and Louisiana,
sure.
okay?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah, it's the same
Well, then,
song. In other words, it's status quo, maintain the status quo. In other words, don't try anything new,
no.
because
no,
we can't have that.
No, I think it's as simple as the old insider-outsider model, okay? It's not a question of status quo. Are you part of our group or not? If you're not, then we're gonna screw you.
Right, but this is the thing that needs to be eradicated, this groupthink mentality, because groupthink mentality gives us AKA socialism and policies that come from on high, where the people really don't have a say. Did anybody have a say in the flock cameras? I mean, look, the deck, and in Greenwich, the deck was already stacked with respect to all these speed cameras that they put up in Greenwich.
Okay, but can you beat it? Can you beat it when 80% of the people think like sheep and
Okay,
think
well-
groupthink? I mean, can you beat it? I mean,
Well, I don't know about 80%, but yes,
Well, a lot, majority.
I agree with you. Yeah.
a lot of people, majority of the people.
We're seeing if a lot of the flock cameras are coming down, enough pressure is being put on. Now you have, I mean, oh my God, this is the sign, all right? It's a disgusting example. Shame on Bob Duff and the Democrats, but belatedly, he's decided to come out in favor of getting rid of the flock cameras, only after people get really crazy mad.
Right. Another. See, this kind of comes back to my point about being reactionary instead of proactionary or revolutionary. I mean, it's incumbent upon the politicians to, because this is what they do to save face. Oh gosh, gee, my constituents are really upset and angry that all these things are happening and stuff. We got to do something to save my ass. And that's exactly what they do. In other words, they're not forward thinking enough to say, you know what, maybe this is not a good idea. Let's think about this. What the consequences are. It's all reactionary.
Okay, let me paint the picture for you, Jason. I unfortunately will have to change Eric's color, okay? He's gonna be black now, and he's up on the pulpit, talking to his people, and
Okay,
he's
brother.
delivering the message, and they're saying, amen, brother, amen.
Yeah, well, all right, let's switch gears here. I think, Court, you wanted to talk a little bit about
Michigan.
Michigan, so why don't we address that situation?
Okay, the problem here is that we have, count them, two separate cases involving Michigan, both involving election fraud. Jocelyn Benson's out of control, election fraud. Another candidate hit the road. Okay,
Should I get my
what we have
ukulele?
here? Sorry?
Should I get my ukulele and accompany you?
Absolutely. Okay, so who's Jocelyn Benson, by the way? She is the worst, most evil, depraved Secretary of State in the nation, and she has decided to run for the Senate. Okay. Well, this is the same Jocelyn Benson who has put forth an order demanding that this has been in the past and is true now, this primary, all right, and the votes that were taken by federal law are supposed to be preserved for 2 years. Ms. Benson has put forth a state order requiring the records to be destroyed in 1 week.
Wow.
And there are penalties in either case. So, lawsuit has been brought. I forget it was initiated by which town in Michigan, but I think it was an assistant registrar. And she's saying, Judge, I'm damned if I do, and I'm damned if I don't. Which law am I supposed to follow?
Federal
I'll
law.
go to jail if I do one, but I'll go to jail if I do the other. What am I going to do? Okay? Is this too hard to figure out? Let me help you out. Jocelyn Benson will eventually be proven to have been a part of the election fraud of 2020 in Michigan and other elections. Okay? And it's obvious because they're in a hurry to destroy the records that there was fraud committed with the machines in Michigan. All right? The same Michigan, by the way, where there was a lawyer named Perna who got into hot water several years ago because he had the nerve to get a hold of one of those Smartmatic or Dominion machines, and he had an engineer look at it, and the engineer said, I thought these machines were not supposed to be able to connect to the internet, so why does the motherboard have a wireless modem on it?
Why does it have an internet server on it?
Okay, well, he got in hot water. Of course, just like what happened to Tina Peters, the people who tell the truth get in trouble with the law, so that's what happened to him. All right, so regardless, the information was out, and again, because we have, oh, by the way, I want to stop. I need to make a point, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, I was reflecting on this earlier today, and I believe somebody can correct me, but when you look at the federal judges, state judges, municipal judges, there's probably around maybe 50,000 judges in the United States, and you add it all up, okay? Well, out of all those judges, I'm going to tell you right now, there is one. Just one. That one judge will be the most famous judge in American history, bar none. Because he'll be the one judge that will have the courage to take on election fraud and rule properly on it. So the one judge who will be the greatest judge in history, the judge on the greatest crime in American history. We're still waiting. All right, that's my rant. Now, back to regular programming.
Maybe I better go to law school.
What?
Maybe I should go to law school.
A little bit kind of on the edge. There was a woman who got her law degree at the age of 55.
My
But,
mother always wanted me to go to law school.
okay, well, look at what happened to you.
Look what happened. I became a gumshoe.
That's right. Okay. It
Well,
has-
but to
still
your
has a
point,
certain-
though-
What?
But to your point, though, we see in California, it's been pretty much almost proven in Georgia now. We see it in Michigan. I think we've seen it in Maine, and we know what's going on in Connecticut. So it's the widespread
Don't forget
nature of voter
Pennsylvania.
fraud in this country is very concerning, and that's why another reason why I'm very concerned about this November. And I don't think anything's been done.
Okay, well, the next example I'm going to
Not
bring
much.
up about, okay, the next example I'm bringing up about Michigan is going to tie into Connecticut. So, on the War Room this morning, there was a sheriff from Michigan named Dan, or Dar, kind of a weird name, Dar Leaf, L-E-A-F, he's a sheriff. And he was reporting on the results that they had found, showing that in fact, there were individuals who were illegal aliens who had been registered to vote through the motor voter registration system in the state of Michigan. Now, this is considered a big revelation. You, me, it's like, yeah, what took you guys so long? We already know this. Okay, but it came out, all right? So now the pot is being stirred, and we'll see if it leads to anything, right, Eric? We don't know. But what's the problem? Let me go back to Melissa Ramirez in Connecticut. We remember Melissa Ramirez in Connecticut, yes?
Refresh all of our
She was
memory.
on the voter roll in Connecticut.
Oh yeah, yes.
Okay, illegally voted 3 times. okay? And we have a similar situation here in Michigan. So the same crime being committed in two different states, not the same
That we
party.
know of.
Well, that's just, yeah, these are tiny bits. And of course, you have Stephanie Thomas coming, running out, you're lying, you got it wrong, blah, blah, blah. And, she's full of it. So anyway, so that's my Michigan report, sir.
Okay. Well, yeah.
How about California?
Well, how about Connecticut? Because
What about California?
well, and what about Connecticut? Because in Connecticut right now, DeBarros versus Shea. If you, the C-SPAN, okay, so we now know that on C-SPAN that night, on the night of the primary, August 11th, at I believe it was 8:16 p.m. I don't have the exact numbers. It showed 8:16 p.m. or it might have been 9:16 p.m. and it had Shea at 80%. I mean Shea at 75% with 300 and some odd votes, and DeBarros with somewhat less. And then about 5 minutes later, it said the same 16%, but only now it had Shea at 81% and DeBarros at 19. So the time and the percentage didn't change, but suddenly there were 300 and some odd more votes for Shea and 300 and some odd less votes for DeBarros. And I also know that the town of Woodbury, someone in the town of Woodbury has filed a complaint that they saw some glaring election fraud going on in Woodbury that is now being investigated.
Okay, yeah, well, the
Here we go.
explanation's the same every time. Operator error, machine error. That's it. But it's an honest mistake. We didn't mean to do it. Sorry.
Yeah.
The second number is correct. The first number is wrong. Sorry. Anyway, let me go back to Tina Peters. We talked about her last night, Jason, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Okay. So Tina Peters, a woman of extraordinary courage, who served a fair bit of time in jail because she refused to break federal law. Refused. That's what you get these days. All right, so she was, Governor Polis finally released her from jail, or whatever the conditions were. All right, so look, Tina, you have suffered long and hard here. Maybe it's time, I mean, if you want to focus on the lawsuit, fine. But what Tina Peters has done, Eric, she's thrown herself back into the fire. You ready?
I'm listening.
We're listening.
She got hired as an assistant registrar. Being a Secretary of State got her thrown in jail, and now she's been hired as an assistant registrar in Shasta County, California.
Wow.
All right?
It's almost like Operation Utah.
Maybe. But there's more to the story. There's more. Because there is out there a video. I think his name is Clint Cliff, is his name. So this is, I think he's probably in his 50s, maybe even 60s. So he is the both town clerk and registrar for Shasta County, the same place where Tina got hired.
Coincidence? I think not.
Seems Mr. Clint needs a little help because Mr. Clint was standing next to a couple of doors with signs on them that said "Keep Out," and he was explaining that he had taken his authority and he was sequestering ballots in that county concerning, I guess, a primary. And his allegation was that there's something fraudulent about these ballots. So he's put them in this room, and the battle shall now proceed. And he's hired Tina. Tell me this is not going to get interesting. She's tough.
They're up against the
She's
brick
as tough
wall
as
in
they come.
California.
Okay. Yeah, to me, this is almost like kicking Newsom in the balls. It's great. So we'll see. We will see how this plays out the next few weeks.
They'll probably both end up in jail.
Yeah, but the thing is, I feel like we're at this point in time that it's becoming ever more critical. I'm not going to call it a race against time. When you go to the federal level and we talk about how the SAVE Act hasn't been passed still, so now the talk is shifting to President Trump having to issue an executive order declaring a national emergency for our elections. And, some person put it very simply, because a big part of what's driving this is the evidence concerning how China has interfered in our elections. And somebody put it very simple. China is in our elections. Yeah, you know what? I think you got a point there. China is in our elections. They have woven and weaved and wormed their way into how we do elections. But in what way, to what degree? This is what needs to be found out, and that can only be done by declaring a national emergency. So this has not happened, but it needs to happen, and time is running out. So I have to wonder, people have, like to talk about the October surprise, right? We always hear about the October surprise.
That'll be the end of the war with Iran, in my opinion.
Nope, let's take some drinking bets on this. You drink, right?
No,
Oh, you don't drink?
very rarely.
Oh, okay, let's see, then we have to, let's see.
I have about as many drinks in 1 year as a typical drunk will have in one night.
I see, so
Between
what's your
6 and
favorite?
10
all right, so
a
what's your-
year.
All right, so what's your favorite food?
My favorite food has always been lobster.
Lobster?
Yeah, but my practical favorite food is lasagna.
Okay, we'll take a lasagna bet then.
Can't
So
have
the-
lobster every night, you know?
All right, so lobster with lasagna, that's our bet.
Yeah.
And the bet is that in October, the surprise is not going to be about Iran. It's going to be about election fraud. And
I'm sorry,
Friday-
in the form of election fraud reform, or in the form of an allegation?
No, definitive proof.
Okay.
Unavoidable, unassailable proof. Okay? I mean, we've seen so many examples of this stuff.
Yeah, so we've seen things like, we've seen things online and that have proven that, say, like, for instance, a town only has, say, 17,000 registered voters, but yet there's 20,000 votes cast. Ridiculous things like that. So
Yes.
maybe that's Trump in the Oval Office with, pointing these things out. Because I've always wondered why we're not seeing that on these things being broadcast on a more mainstream level.
Well, I think you answered your own question there. You said mainstream. No, it's going to be us. And I guess maybe we need to do some definitive work on this. But, I mean, we'll go back. There's this, I want to call it a flyer. Her name is Linda D'Alessio. She works with this group called Unite for Freedom. It's one of a number of groups that have popped over the last couple of years over the issue of election fraud. And they put out something that's state by state. And by the way, other states are definitely worse than Connecticut, but there are definitely problems in Connecticut. And what she keeps putting up is this flyer that suggested in the 2024 election, it was something on the order of, say, 250,000 more votes recorded than the number of people who actually voted in the election.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say it was 1 million that voted, yet we have 1,250,000 votes recorded. Where do these others come from, right?
Good question.
So we're sitting, and besides, this stuff has happened. This is again, here we go. It's happened before, and still no resolution, no action, no discussion, nothing. All right, and I don't understand why. Maybe it's up to you and me. Maybe we're the ones that have to file the lawsuit. I don't understand. Okay. Okay. So anyway, so we talked about Connecticut, and
Well, there's plenty of, Lucy there?
any other favorites there, boy?
Um,
But okay, so if we file lawsuits, then it falls on deaf ears. That's the problem. But especially in Connecticut, the justice system in Connecticut is badly corrupted with corrupt judges.
Right.
And of our 50,000 judges in the country, how many of them are really, fair and impartial?
Okay, first of
Like
all,
you said, not even one has stepped up to do this yet.
okay, in effect, we have not one but two, count them, Secretary of States. One former, that's Susan Bysiewicz, and the current one, Stephanie Thomas. And you can be sure.
Susan Bysiewicz just passed away.
What?
no, Susan Bysiewicz is still very much,
She's the
Was it
lieutenant
Nancy
governor.
Wyman? Somebody
she's
just
the,
passed
yeah.
away.
No, lieutenant
Why-
governor.
no. Susan Bysiewicz is the lieutenant governor.
Okay. But
She
somebody
was
just
state,
passed away.
she was secretary of the state, and now she's
Okay.
LG, so.
Right, okay. So all I'm saying is between the two of them, you can count on all kinds of mistakes, all kinds of lies and excuses with respect to evidence of fraud in the state. They'll do everything they can to deflect, deny, divert, to dissemble, to deny. I said deny, okay? Expect it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all of this gets down to another thing here. I haven't quite laid it out yet, Jason, but I'm going to say that there's a job here to be done by certain individuals who have a background in detective work. Something to think about. And let me give you an example of some other detective work that's pending. Now, I'm changing the subject a little bit here. This is more closer to home. But let me lay it out for you. Let me lay it out.
Okay.
Good old Killingworth, the Haddam Killingworth School District has been having problems getting their budgets together. We're in the middle of a fight now. We're going to the, count them, fourth referendum on the budget. And it's going to be another battle royale. We're going to vote on Tuesday,
Is this the town budget overall or the education budget?
the education budget.
Okay.
Okay, for this district. All right, so here's the problem. What year is it?
Last I checked, it was 2026.
Correct. Now, every year they're supposed to produce a budget. So the 2024 budget, the 2025 budget, we're trying to vote on the 2026 budget. It is now, let's see here, August 21st? Yes, August 21st. Look at that. And the budget, the books on the 2025 budget would have closed on December 31st. So
Okay.
here we are, almost 9 months in, and the school system has failed to produce its report.
Failed miserably.
That would be correct. Now, let's talk about the excuse. They put their hands up, the Board of Education, these losers, and they say, well, we've kind of had a long-running problem here. Every year, for the last 5 years, we've had to fire the bookkeeper.
Yeah.
The finance director, I'm sorry. And so one goes, fire another one. Year later, they quit or they're fired. Number 3, same problem. Number 4, number 5. Now we're on to 6.
Right.
They're probably putting all the responsibility on them, on the
Okay.
bookkeeper, and they're running ragged. And the bookkeeper's like, "Screw this," and then that's what's happening probably.
Perhaps we don't know. This is the problem. I mean, you raise a good
Well,
point.
6 is 5 and 5 years. I mean,
Okay, so, I mean, my first thought is there's something about the culture for the Board of Education that might be toxic, and the administration and the board don't get along, and this kind of crap unfolds. Who knows? But the problem is, we don't have an explanation. Okay, they just say, "Oh, we had to fire them," or they quit. No. And so now the excuse for why they have not yet produced the 2025 budget is, you ready?
I'm ready.
Waiting.
We can't find the receipts.
Right.
Can't find the receipts.
Do you remember that time when Donald Rumsfeld came out and said that they were missing to like $2 trillion?
Yeah.
Well, no, I think that was the Federal Reserve. Oh,
No.
wait, no, you're right. That's right. It
Yeah.
was, yes, because the Department of Defense had failed an audit every time, something to that effect.
We don't know what happened to $2 trillion.
There is more shit going on.
I mean,
The missing
$2 trillion dollars.
Okay,
That's a
so
lot
let
of
me
money, even for government, by the way.
Okay, let me just add to that. There was the video. Another one of these hearings, like 2 people sitting up in the committee seats, one guy sitting there to testify, and the person. Oh, geez.
5
do
minutes
I-
later.
Yep, there he is.
All right, I'm waiting for the song Margaritaville to chime in any second now.
There you go.
Lost in Margaritaville. Okay. so-
Yes,
all right.
that was the day before the Twin Towers came down.
Yeah, we got to figure out how to. Eric, there's got to be a way to neutralize the volume on these things. We got Quiet as a Church Mouse Court. We got Boombox Concert City DJ Ricky here. Then we got Eric at the.
Why
meeting.
did I come in? Did I come in hot, Jason?
Yeah, your mic is really
My
hot.
hair is standing up on end. But
Is there
then-
any way you can dial down your gain or?
Yeah, let me see what I can do. Actually, I'll just be very quiet. And I just got online.
My hair's standing up.
Well, don't I get to say hi to Irene?
Do you want to say hi to Irene?
Of course.
Gotta say goodnight, Irene.
Why? Oh, that laugh.
Yeah, good night, Irene.
I don't know.
Yeah, that was the next day the Twin Towers were attacked. With that
Wait, after what?
when Rumsfeld announced that was on September 10th, 2001.
Well, well, well. What do you know? Okay. So I just wanted to
No,
add.
no, 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 no. I need that light.
Oh no, this looks cool.
No, I just went. I just.
It was almost.
It looked like
it's
a
almost
No, come and say hello.
initiation there for a minute.
Come and say hello.
Yes.
We're on the live stream.
Irene, Irene, how I miss Irene. I want to know that I will be seen with Irene.
Got that.
Yeah, yeah. I think you definitely did not miss your calling.
You know, like I'm really trying hard.
Okay, hon.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
think what we wanted to talk about next were the housing, the 830G. Now,
Where's my baseball hat?
I sent you. I sent you, Ricky. I'm just going to mute you for a second. So I saw. I wanted you, Court. I wanted you to see the video conference or podcast that Joe Kelly had in our area, and I want to get your critique of.
Did you send it?
I'll put it.
Yeah, I did.
When?
This evening, but you're not going to have time to watch it now. Just watch it after the podcast is over,
Yeah. How long
and
is
then
it?
it's I don't know. I mean,
Oh, there it is. Joe Kelly link.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Jeez.
So yeah, so
It's gonna
when
be- it's
when
gonna
you
be
get a chance, like give that a gander, and then take notes, and then we can have a commentary on it
Okay,
next.
I'll say that listening to him is going to be like listening to my singing.
Maybe.
Oh, look, it's the horror movie. Midnight in Milford.
Yeah. Boris Karloff.
Yes, look at that. That's the ugliest looking Boris Karloff I ever saw.
Right. So, yeah, I wanted to address the housing thing, but I'll just briefly touch on something that I think was the subject that came up. And I think this was also something that I saw posted on Facebook, like the realtors. And I think that there's like a realtors guild or whatever. But it seems to me that there's like a realtors mafia in a way.
Connecticut Realtors Association.
Well, right. They've been leaning on the Connecticut legislature to, open up the floodgates so that they can sell
Sure.
properties or whatever. I mean, that's kind of the Cliff Notes version of what
I wouldn't question that. No.
you got to look at you have to look at the article.
Okay, trivia question. How many real estate agents are there in Connecticut?
Gotta be
Like
100,000.
3,000.
Oh, more than that.
Try 18,000.
Oh, I thought it was more than that.
Okay.
The market, well, it was higher, but a number have left over the last-
Okay, but right. So there's
Just
an
turn it
there's an incentive there to push the state to either build more, like to build more, to have more properties available because there's not enough inventory. So I mean, if I put two and two together, and I do the math, it seems to me that there's a high probability that this collection of real estate agents could put their fingers on the scale with respect to all of the development that's going on in order for there to be more inventory available so that they could make more sales and so that the agencies could, make more profit, et cetera, and so forth.
Okay, what you have is a nice little piece of logic that is in need of facts.
Okay.
And I can tell you from my experience.
Well, there's a fact pattern that has been established by
No,
this
there is
with
no fact
respect.
pattern. No, all you've done is lay out a scenario and a narrative.
All
Okay?
right.
There is no fact pattern there.
Okay, so but before you basically kneecap me, before I can actually flush out my
There's
ideas
no
here.
fact pattern.
When I'm talking about fact patterns, I'm talking about fact patterns that have been established where they create a problem in order to offer a solution. So it's kind of a twofold sort of prospectus
Okay.
that's put forth. So, for example, if I can, or if I may, you had the pharmaceutical industries, right? So, is there more or less, maladies within the pharmaceutical? There's more lawsuits now, and then you have all of these drugs that are being pushed, the vaccine mandates and so forth. So, is it not a fact that hospitals and bureaus or agencies of the sort were to get kickbacks if they could diagnose patients that contracted a disease or COVID or whatever it was? And that is actually true. You can go back and look at the, I think it was in April of 2020, where they had a Dr. Birx, and then I think one or two other people were deliberating on their procedure. And so they had these forms that were filled out. And so
Michael.
they,
It's just mush. You just
Eric is correct on this.
No,
So-
listen to me, listen to me. You're talking about the pharmaceutical industry. That is not the real estate industry. Everything you're saying about the pharmaceutical industry may be true, but you're trying to use that to make a case concerning the real estate industry, and it's wrong.
okay, so what facts do you have to prove that it's a negative?
I would say current market conditions are a good place to start.
Okay, so is it or is it not true that a bill was passed in Hartford basically coercing the municipalities to develop what are being called affordable housing? Yes or no?
Of course
Is that a
it
fact?
is.
Okay,
Of course.
so as a consequence of that, it's not unreasonable to conjecture that as a
So all you're
consequence of
doing
doing
is
that, you
conjecturing. I could look, Eric, please stop it. What area am I involved in? Real estate. I hang out with real estate agents. I read real estate news. Okay?
And?
If
And?
anything you were saying was true, I would have heard it. And so far, it's just bullshit. Okay? Everything you're describing has nothing to do with the current realities in the real estate market. Nothing conjectured, nothing talked, nothing planned, nothing in terms of who I deal with, nothing.
okay, well then provide evidence that nothing is.
Okay, part one, you're suggesting that there is a real estate mafia somewhere. This could not be more ridiculous.
That's a colloquial term that I'm using. I'm just saying that there are there or are there not people
Yeah, of
in the
course
real
there are
estate
mafia.
industry that lobby? Okay, so that's a fact. All right, so there's an established fact that there is a cross section of realtors in a real estate guild or whatever it is
You know
that
nothing about what they're
lobby Hartford to say that we need
what?
more inventory.
So hold on, guys.
So
Eric-
now
Eric-
they have to invent a way to create more inventory. It's just business 101 for Pete's sakes. Assets minus liabilities equals net worth. If you have too many real estate agents and not enough inventory, then nobody makes a sale.
Okay, you're not describing business 101, okay? You're talking about politics 101. The notion that some people in the real estate industry are somehow
There's an incestuous relationship between politics and the way business is conducted between our so-called representatives up in Hartford and all of the builders, the mafia, D'Addario, Telesco Fuel and Mason, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so don't sit there and tell me that some of these builders and some of these contract, no, you're wrong. You're wrong. You're dead wrong. You're dead wrong.
Where's the evidence? Where's your evidence?
Okay, would you like me to provide you with evidence? There's plenty of it.
Speaking in
It's not,
generalities.
it's not incumbent upon me to prove a negative. It's incumbent upon you, okay?
Okay, again, if I knew of lobbyists.
The real estate expert.
Yes, and I am, goddammit. The notion that lobbyists are lobbying for more inventory is nonsense, complete nonsense. There are market forces at play, and there is no act of government is going to force the hand of people to suddenly make more houses available. It
Okay,
doesn't work that
Jason,
way.
Jason,
We
Jason,
already
Ja-
have houses.
Jason, hold on a second, hold on. Jason,
Stupid.
has it not been talked about that Chris Shea and Ben Proto, and I can't remember the name of the other guy, but this is something that,
Democrat
Ja-
real estate
that-
developer
no,
who
no.
wanted to build a bridge across Long Island. Who
No,
donated
I'm not talking about that.
$2,000 to
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking
That's what
about,
you want to talk about because that's a real estate developer who's solely mixing it in.
you're fine, but that's not what I'm talking about specifically. What I'm specifically trying to address is, I think it was John Flynn
Okay.
that was talking about Ben Proto, Chris Shea, and some other guy. And I wish we had Flynn to talk about this because he was talking about some kind of deal that was made. The reason why they wanted Chris Shea in there is because he was capitulating to the developments that were
Yeah.
going on with respect to the
Actually,
acres.
no.
Is that right? Right or wrong? Right or wrong?
It is right. It's a,
Oh,
it's
so
actually-
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
So
you.
what?
Let me
What
talk.
impact do you think he has on this? Zero. He's an incompetent. He's a firefighter. You think he's going to?
It's actually a
have some
Jewish
kind of
it's a
control or
Jewish
influence?
construction. It's a Jewish construction firm that was contracting out supposedly too to get
Yeah.
out to,
Okay.
to, for,
That's
to, for
different.
this real estate development.
Okay.
Right?
That's
It's,
different.
it's to Eric's point, but it doesn't. You know,
No, it doesn't
everything,
support
but
it.
it's your
Where's the
point,
ma- It's a Jewish mafia then in the construction business? Is that what you're talking about?
I
didn't say
Really?
about
that's,
I thought it was BlackRock, but I could be wrong.
That's another story too. As you may recall.
And by the way, this
Trump
whole
got
thing
on
about
the
this whole
horn,
thing about
and
supply
he
and demand
told
when it
them
comes
to stop.
this whole thing
The
about
percent
supply
of
and
corporate
demand
ownership of homes has gone down. If anybody's paying attention,
when it comes to
what do I know?
when it comes to supply and demand about housing, I mean, lest we not forget about illegal immigration, which is a huge factor in that too.
Yes, right. That has more impact than what you're talking about, Eric. Get real.
no, it's all part of the same. It all falls
It's
under
not
this.
part of the same
Well,
thing.
No, it is all
You're
under the same
confusing
thing.
it.
Thank you,
No,
Jay. Thank you,
also
Jay.
illegal
Thank you,
immigration
Jason.
All under the law.
Right, because
Supply and demand.
because to the degree you have people moving in here, there's not enough inventory to fill the spaces that those people need to live. So what do? First you house them in all of these highfalutin hotels and you give them money to live there, right? And while you're doing that, you have the development stuff, the developers and the laws that need to be passed on ice. Once you get those laws passed, the developers start lining up and they start building. Then you could move all of those illegals out of the hotels, et cetera, and so forth, and into these affordable housing units or whatever. But I spoke with Kimberly Fiorello about this when she was actually representing her constituents, and what she told me was that what they're doing is this whole 830G is multifold. It's to eliminate it. Part of it is to eliminate property rights.
Yeah.
The other component of it is these like no bid contracts. So in other words, a portion of these developments that go up are supposedly allocated to affordable housing. The builders can actually charge the tab to the government at market value. So they're getting money from the government to actually build these things. You know, the money doesn't come out of thin air. There's monies that are allocated to it, right? And then what they do is there aren't enough people in, purportedly, there aren't enough people in the workforce that could actually afford a lot of these places at fair market value. So that's why they shuffle the deck and they allocate a portion of these to the illegals. But all of the money is it's going to it's like it's a faux economy type of situation. They're creating a fake or faux economy. And the people that are getting the money are the politicians and the builders and developers and the real estate agents, okay?
So far, you've provided a perfectly coherent fantasy. How many of those are you going through, do you think? Okay, you have to do your homework. There is a project that's being under consideration in Southbury, which is outrageous in its scope. They're looking for 600 units. Let me look up the population of Southbury while I'm on it, okay?
It's about 20,000.
All right, 20,000, fine, thank you. Okay, gonna add 600 units.
Yeah,
to the
it's
town
a
with
fantasy,
600
and Kimberly Fiorello is just
Okay.
lying to me, you know?
No,
Whatever.
you don't get it. You don't get it.
No,
don't wanna
you
let-
don't get it.
No,
You
I
don't
know-
get it.
I know exactly what I'm talking about, you idiot. I know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm explaining facts to you. You don't want to hear the facts.
Intention on common sense news and entertainment.
Get real. Okay, back to Southbury.
You know, wait
600
till my
units
cat.
being proposed. Guess what? People fight it. Doesn't matter what the state law is. They're going to
both-
still fight it.
You're both right. That's the thing about it. You know?
Okay, you
Right, so
talk
it's
like
20
they're a fait accompli, that they're just going to happen and nobody can do anything about it, just going to move ahead. It does not work like that.
Southbury population's 20,500.
Thank you.
Yeah, right. There's just, there's absolutely no criminal
what?
element whatsoever.
We didn't talk about a criminal element. You're talking about development.
Yeah, so
Saying criminal.
crime,
saying crime.
whatever,
Dash 30G, they're not committing a crime.
so whatever it's called legal, they've legalized the crime is what they've done. They've
Right.
passed legislation making it legal to basically foist their pet socialist communist project on the rest of us.
No,
You know,
they're doing-
at the expense of John and Jane Q. Public taxpayer.
No,
And Eric is right in the sense that we have corruption in every industry in our state.
Thank you, thank you.
Excluded from that.
Okay,
From that.
the suggestion that the real estate industry of which I am a part is anyway shaped in the manner in which he's describing it is pure crap. Okay? He can be making a correct point on a logical.
Okay, maybe, or maybe there's,
But it's not reality.
well, it sounds to me like there's a component of it that you have not considered, and the only reason why you're getting angry about
Like
it
I know nothing
is,
about 8-30G. Like I've never read the law.
That's not
like
what
I
I
don't
said.
understand these issues.
what
Bullshit.
I'm, no, what I'm
everything
saying, what I'm
happens above the law.
saying is, what I'm saying is that maybe there are people that are operating within the system that are not talked about, that you don't know about, that you might not be aware of, that you might
Oh.
not have considered.
Who?
I don't know. I mean,
so
I'm
you're
just saying, I don't know.
Great. So this is how you win an argument, by saying that there's something you don't know that I don't know, and therefore you win.
Listen, I have put forth an idea that is not beyond the, it's not insane to think
I
that
wouldn't
there,
just tell you it's a coherent, logical narrative, but it's not grounded in reality. How many times do I have to say that?
well, it is grounded in reality
No, it's
because as
not.
I've said, why is it
Let me
not
get you
grounded in
started.
reality?
Let me get you started, okay? Connecticut has a certain number of houses, apartment buildings, condos, co-ops. Did I leave anything out here? Single
Or
family
is this
res-
Title 8?
What? No.
Is it Title 8 that you're talking about?
No, he's not talking about that.
General Statute 8-32?
Title 8's very minor, but it's not even worth talking about here.
Okay, I'll look it up.
Okay, so you have a certain number of houses. In Connecticut, when you add it all up, it's approximately 1.5 million units. Okay, can you deal with that as a fact, Eric?
Keep going.
Okay,
I'm listening. Go ahead.
It says it was repealed.
no, it's not repealed. But if it has, nobody's, look, I've been dealing with people who are looking for Section 8 housing, okay? So as far as I know, it's still around. All right. Now, that's your housing inventory or housing stock. Out of that housing stock, every day, every month, something comes on the market and something gets sold. It's called the real estate market. You might have heard of it. So far, so good?
Go on.
Okay, now the magic question. Let's just take monthly. On an average monthly basis, what percentage of the total housing inventory is on the market for sale? Pick a number.
I'm gonna say about 15%.
I was gonna say 10%.
No, not even close. Okay? 0.3%. It is the lowest ratio in the nation of inventory to housing stock. The lowest in the nation.
That would suggest that we have fewer people trying to leave or move this state than any other state.
All right, look.
There's a lot of property for sale in Milford,
Right.
Connecticut.
Right, so if there are more people leaving the state than are moving in, then why the push to develop and build?
That's a good question. It puzzles
Yeah,
me
it
too.
goes back to my logical fantasy, as you put it.
Okay, the problem is how many, you have to ask yourself, how many of these units are really, let's put it this way, there are more proposals being put forth, more discussions, more meetings with planning and zoning commissions than actual projects being finished. Okay, there's a huge, shall we say, imbalance between the two. Okay, so until that moment, when it's done and people can move in, the rest doesn't matter, but that's where you want to play, Eric. It's okay.
Connecticut Association of Realtors was explicitly named on the House floor in 1989 as part of the coalition supporting the bill that became 830G. Fact! Thank you! My case has been made. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, God.
Okay,
Thank you.
no, you didn't make it, no, you said mafia, okay? Connecticut.
That, I used that as a colloquial term, and now what you're trying to do, now what you're trying to do is you're moving the goalpost based on something I said. Call it a mafia, call it a guild, call it whatever. It's basically, they have an interest in making money. Everybody has an interest in making money, and people will find a way, come hell or high water, to make that happen. Whether it's constitutional or not is anybody's guess. But as I've stated, and I will continue to state, amidst all of your hand-wringing and chest-pounding, is that this is going on, it's happening, okay? And I just read you something that is a fact that was established 20, 30, 40 years ago.
30 years ago. Okay, great. That's 30 years ago.
And it's been ongoing. So 830G came directly out of governor-created commission. Democratic Governor William O'Neill created the Blue Ribbon Commission on Housing.
We got it. In the meantime, let's move to the present time. What has been the big hot issue for the last 2 years when it comes to housing?
Affordable housing?
CT 169 Strong, okay? Remember them? You don't remember them, okay?
Of course I do.
Segregate CT now. How about them?
What's your point?
My point is that the battleground has shifted long ago from your point about 8-30G to what is now Public Act 25-1.
Well, you know what? Based on what I've observed, I don't see that any of the, I've seen that those groups have had very little effect on the fact that the development continues, groundbreaking continues, and all of the proposals, I don't think you saw that recently.
I understand. Should there be
Something
no
that was,
development? Is that what you're saying?
sorry?
There should be no development?
No, I'm not saying there shouldn't be a development, but
what
I'm
are you
saying that,
talking about?
so what I'm saying is that municipalities should have a say in how much, how large, how big, or how many units they have. And currently, they don't. And why? Because 830G.
You would be wrong, sir, okay? It's Public Act 25-1. That's where your vitriol needs to be directed, not 8-30G, okay? 8-30G was still subjected to review by local planning and zoning commissions. And this is what was pissing off the developers, not the real estate agents, the developers. And they're the ones who have supported CT or segregate CT now, okay? Those are the ones that CT 169 Strong have had to fight, okay? And we've managed to hold
Okay,
it off,
so
to
you
hold it
basically
off.
just made my case for me.
No, you didn't.
All right?
No, how?
Yeah,
You're
because
you got it
you're
backwards. You got it back.
No. Those groups wouldn't exist but for what I'll call the mafia getting behind the state legislatures and everything to pass these stupid draconian authoritarian bills in order to.
Ignore this crazy term of mafia, okay? The point is that they're.
It's a mafia. It's a mafia.
You want to hold on to that? Fine, hold on to it then. It's still stupid.
Well, you seem to be obsessed over it, so I'll just run with it.
Passwords. You're not listening. 25-1. That's where the shit hits the fan. That's the law, not 8-30G.
Doesn't matter. It's a law
Yes,
that
it does matter. What do you? Eric, you're not even listening. You're not even listening.
What matters though is that
Still have review.
we still have the
You
policy.
still have rejection.
Who cares
You
about where?
still have citizens protesting.
Who cares
under
about? Hey, who cares
8-30G.
about where it came from? Who cares? The point is, these policies are in place.
He's trying to argue that all this fraud and crap and having loss of our rights and power under 8-30G, and that's just wrong.
Okay, I'm loving it, gentlemen. But with that, I'm gonna take off. I gotta go. I got things to do. I got people to
Yeah.
call. Tomorrow night, we're gonna get Selena Rifkin,
Yeah.
my co-host on Common Sense, Connecticut Common Sense, on here with us.
No, I'm not the one who's fact challenged, Eric. You're the one who has to
Good
get
night,
the
everybody.
facts.
Good night, Jason.
See you, DJ.
Yeah, so it's a variety of different. It's 830G is just one of probably many examples. I'm sure they're probably
running problem. Fred Camillo could tell you all about it. Okay, as well as the mayors and first selectmen in other towns. All right.
right, but they just seem to have done little to nothing except just roll over and just say, "Oh well," shrug their shoulders and say, "Oh well,
Well,
there's nothing I can do about it."
You know what? The person who should really be a part of this discussion is a woman named Alexis Harrison. Do you know her?
Yeah, of course I do.
Okay, she would be all right. One of us has to call her and get her in on this discussion because she knows this better than both of us combined. And I'm fairly confident that she would be making the same points I would be making.
Okay.
Okay, the review process, you've never sat in on zoning meetings, would be enough to drive anybody nuts. Have you ever been on a zoning meeting, Ricky?
No, Court. Sorry, I was being. There was a little bird down here named Irene chirping, so I was catching bits and pieces.
Okay, all right. So, but you've never been in a zoning meeting. I have been in several. They are an insult to developers, okay? These people who just sit there and argue over the stupidest things. Well, somebody's trying to get something built, all right? And I say that regardless of whether I benefit from it or not. I mean, the whole process is insane. So I can understand why you've had people trying to take it out of their hands. But I say, don't take it out of their hands. That's a bad idea. But this is what has happened, not with 8-30, but with 25-1.
All I know is Milford is overdeveloped. Metro Star. Look into that company.
Okay, well, yes. So, they feel that their duty bound. Look, I'll give you another example. Over in Westbrook, there is this theater and shopping complex called Westbrook Mall. It has been in decline for many years. About 2 years ago, some company called Lexington Properties or something out of Hartford had put forth a proposal to, quote, develop it. And developing it meant putting in units for people to live.
Same thing out in Milford with the Connecticut Post Mall.
Yeah, okay, but this is just it. These are what developers are doing everything everywhere they can.
Did you say 23-1?
25-1.
Oh, I'm sorry.
25-1, all right? That's the one that's a problem. That's
Yeah,
the one
I got 25-1 in front of me right here. It says an act concerning interactions between school personnel and immigration authorities, the purchase and operation of certain drones, grants to certain nonprofit organizations, and student athletes, compensation through endorsement contracts, and revenue sharing agreements. That's what I'm seeing in front of me.
Connecticut Public Act 25-1.
Yeah, and then you got Public Act 89-311, Public Act 21-29, Public Act Act 23-207, and then House Bill 5002 to 25-1 HB 002. The next useful step is to, all right, so
Right. No, it says here.
yeah, so there's a whole host of
Yes. Okay. But the star of the show is Public Act 25-1, as it says, originally HB 8002, and that's what we were originally fighting about back then, okay? All right, and the point is that it takes power and authority away from local boards and it puts it into, takes it away from elected officials in the local towns and puts it in the hands of appointed, unelected officials that are part of a board in Hartford. Okay, they're unaccountable to the public. And they're supposed to make decisions. I mean, you can complain all you want about what developers want to do, but this is even worse because, you know, it's what the developers want. I can tell you, I as a real estate agent don't want it. No benefit to me. Anyway, people are not going to put up with it. And I want to remind you, what did Michael Goldstein do, Eric?
I don't remember.
Okay, so Michael Goldstein has just sent in a complaint to the Department of Justice suggesting that there's something illegal and unconstitutional about Public Act 25-1 and 8-30G. So good for him that he's taken the charge on this.
Let's see. Right.
Right.
So, all right, I'm just going to wait for that to grind out. Which just corroborates what I've long suspected anyway.
Here we go again. Oh my God.
Sorry, I have nothing to really bring to the game today.
Well, I mean,
but it's
you're,
fun
you're,
being it's
well,
fun
you're,
being a spectator.
you're a property owner. I mean, you do have skin in the game, right?
Oh yeah, all the property in Milford Center, stuff like that, the two houses and other stuff. But I mean, I really can't comment on what you guys were
Yeah, well,
going back and forth at.
I would admit I'm much more interested in talking about amplifiers.
Well, yeah, but I mean, this is the stuff that's supposed to bring about like meaningful change to, you know, people that want to live and work and reside in Connecticut. And, you know, if people remain, you know, if you can't talk about it or for whatever reason, you have your reasons for not, you know, talking about it. But I mean, clearly, you know, this is, it's kind of like the same thing with the election fraud that goes on in Bridgeport or in Waterbury, you know, or in other parts of Connecticut. You know, it's just like, don't talk about that, or how dare you, you know, come up with any idea that anything wrong is or bad is going on. Of course it's going on. I mean, you can look at it and you can see it.
No, there's
know,
a
it
different
did-
reason. There's a different reason for not talking about it because the developers treat these like top secret projects.
Okay, so Desegregate Connecticut appears to have been actively instrumental
There's
in,
another statement.
so RPA's Pete, when HB 8002 emerged, Harrison told Connecticut Mirror that his organization had lobbied for the transit-oriented development portion. RPA subsequently celebrated passage because HB 8002 retained the core of work, live, ride. I think I've heard of that before.
Sure.
So then you got the Home Builders and Remodelers Association of Connecticut also was there. Let's see, Lamont Administration, Legislative, or Appointment, CCM, Cost Municipalities. So the first row is.
And where were the Connecticut Realtors?
Hold on, getting there.
Yeah, they're not there. I hate to break the news.
Yeah.
In the meanwhile,
Yeah, so while he's doing that. So what was the other thing I wanted to bring up there, Ricky? I'm trying to remember. Let's see.
what else do you have on the list there, Court?
You know, there's a funny relationship between two of the things we talked about last night.
Oh, hold on, I gotta turn this up. Eric, let me know if you hear any feedback.
No, you're good. I mean, so far you're good. This is
Okay.
why I think it's just better to wear headphones. I mean, it's
Oh, I
another.
would, but I don't, there's no headphone port on the tablet.
Oh, right. Oh,
And when I use my
you're,
phone, for whatever reason, I sound like a
See,
space
you
invader.
don't have a laptop?
Oh, I do. I have a laptop over here. Well, no, technically, what would I call it? It's a small tower, but,
there's no jack in the back?
I don't really put too much stuff on these things because, I have to use them for, when I'm mixing down music for clients. So I don't want anything really on them more than what needs to be on there.
Right, so anyway,
Okay, here it is. Here it is. June 5, 1989, Senate debate. The bill's proponents expressly identified the Connecticut's Association of Realtors as part of the broad coalition supporting the legislation alongside CCM, COST, CBIA, and the governor. The senator described the legislation as the result of negotiation and painstaking discussions and said numerous outside parties had substantial input. 2009, Attorney Timothy Hollister appeared before the Housing Committee presenting a jointly endorsed statement supporting preservation of the bill. The endorsers included the Home Builders Association, Connecticut Association of Realtors, Affordable Housing Committee of the Connecticut Bar Association, Connecticut Housing Coalition, Partnership for Strong Communities, Legal Assistance Resource Center, Southeast Connecticut Housing Alliance. So there's 6 bodies of influence that were pushing this into the public sphere of bills. So, I mean, it's right there. That's you wanted facts. There are your
No.
facts.
first, you're beating a dead horse, 1989.
It started in 1989. It's been ongoing. 2009, 2013, 2019, 2021, 2026. Okay? It's all there in black and white. Published, documented, facts. You wanted the facts? I'll be happy to send it over to you so that you can so that you can comb through it and pick it apart and do whatever you want to do with it.
Let's see here, I'll do my little search now, because, again, if what you were saying was true, I would have heard about it, and there was nothing.
It's right there. It's all published. I mean, this comes from Connecticut, the CTA State Library. This one comes from the Connecticut General Assembly. Another one from the General Assembly. This one was published in the Westport P&Z Action Minutes. This one was published in the Connecticut General Assembly. I mean, it's all there. Home Builders and Remodelers Association of Connecticut, February 12, 2025. You know.
All right, so here's the search term I did. Has the Connecticut Realtors Association supported Public Act 25-1? Fair question?
It's a very overgeneralized question, but
It hits the heart of everything you're saying. Okay, there's one thing to, look, all kinds of people can step in and testify whatever they want, all right? But the notion that they would have twisted arms and flooded money onto legislators and done all these other things to do what you're saying, no.
why not? Why would they not do it?
Because it's not as important to you as it seems.
It's not, it doesn't, I don't care whether it's important to me. I care whether it's important to them. Is it important for them? Is it important for them to seek a means and ways to have laws passed that benefits them? It's quid pro quo. Who benefits? Who is benefiting from these authoritarian, overreaching, draconian laws? Somebody's benefiting from it.
Yeah, the state of Connecticut.
Okay, well, other people are too. Other people, you think the state is the only, the state cannot do things unless they can't tie their own shoelaces. They need somebody else to help them tie their shoelaces.
All right,
So you
Tom,
have,
but
so
the
you have,
law
so
recently
you,
passed, but
so you
in-
have third parties that say, yes, we can do this, but you can't associate, we can't be associated with that, or we don't want to be mentioned or whatever. But, as we all know, a lot of people can't keep secrets, and this stuff eventually surfaces and comes out, and the truth is told. So there's nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known. That's a biblical axiom, a biblical proverb, and it's just as true now as it's ever been. So my theory or my thesis about all of these organizations being instrumental in giving us the tomfuckery that we have in the real estate market for you guys. I mean, I would think that, why are there so many? Does Connecticut need 18 or 20,000 realtors? I would think that
called the free market.
sure, but an intelligent person might say, well, that's a really saturated market. What can I bring to the table that the other realtors are not bringing? So I get it. It's kind of like a car salesman. You have a Chevrolet, but it's just kind of like there's going to be one salesman that you enjoy dealing with. I
You
mean, it's
remind me
like-
of Jonathan Carbuty.
Who is that?
Our beauty?
That's a realtor, and they set up the whole house for the client too, on top of it.
Right, so that sounds like a very good agent.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've seen it's kind of like being in cars. I mean, being in, I would say real estate is probably not dissimilar, although I think there's a lot more hoops you got to jump through to become a real estate agent because there's a lot more legal requirements, to become, just like there is like an attorney or whatever. You have to meet certain criteria in order to be able to sell homes because there are a lot of bases that need to be covered. But my point is that the dynamic in selling real estate, your agents are under pressure to move product, just like they are like in car sales or whatever, shoe sales or numbers. They have to
I'm gonna
produce.
take you back to the first problem. 0.3%.
Okay, what does that number mean?
That's what he's saying is
Not much to sell.
what's available on the market. But in Milford, I'm seeing people.
Well, I hold on. I think there's a caveat to that because, and I'll say this. So you have families, like for example, there's a young gal here in Greenwich or in I think she's in Norwalk. And so her family, and there's another family that I know here in Greenwich, their family owns like tons of real estate in Coscob. They like own half of Coscob. So it's not that there's not enough. I'm going to be careful how I say this. I would say maybe there's not enough inventory, but I would also submit that there is inventory that is not available to agents or that would otherwise be sold by agents. For example, the land and homeowners of the families and stuff that I've just been talking about, they're in essence their own realtor. In other words, for sale by owner type thing. Exactly. So how many for sale by owners do you have in Connecticut, which would preclude agents from being able to do business? So there's that component of it.
So
and are they able to
you
skate
want an
around?
answer.
Well, go ahead.
Okay, I use something called Vulcan 7, which provides me leads on a daily basis. And I will get anywhere from 15 to 25 leads per day. And then there's another section for sale by owners, 3 or 4.
Did you say you called it Volt 7?
No, Vulcan.
Vulcan,
okay.
Right.
like live long and
Commercial
prosper.
Vulcan,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Right. So,
Okay.
So there is a market, if you will, for sale by owners only. And yes, we have a whole plan for converting them so that we get their listings too.
Okay, and would you say that there is a certain percentage of homes that never reach those databases um, at all, where you would be able to, like the for sale by
If
homeowner or
so,
whatever?
very small, very small. In other words, you're trying to talk about what are called off-market sales.
Right.
And off-market sales has become something that's a little bit more interesting to some people, but there's a conflict when it comes to off-market sales because on the one hand, you're afforded privacy. It gives the owner more control over the selling process. But on the other hand, because you're limiting the number of buyers that show up, it could take a lot longer, and you may not get as good an offer.
Okay.
So,
Huh.
yeah,
All right.
no,
Well,
it's a difficult situation.
Sorry, somebody. There we go. Yeah, I don't have much to give on input on
no,
tonight's.
no, well, you have input. You're just trying not to speak about it. That's the problem.
I could comment on what happened in Milford with Metro Star, and that's about it. But
Yeah, well,
it's
well, please.
well, Metro Star has basically they've overdeveloped the town of Milford, and the thing is, they're all rentals. They're not for sale. So I think that's the future that they're going for,
Yeah.
and they're building these. How would I put it? You live above where you work. Is basically the
Smart
model.
city type stuff,
Yeah, yeah.
like
Smart
5 minute city type things.
15-minute
Where you
city.
live, work. That's not dissimilar to the concept of the line that they're building in the Middle East, or they're calling it the line, which is a
Oh, yeah, I know.
yeah.
Eric, I know what you're talking about. Those the two walls that are
It's
just
yeah.
go.
Well, it's a giant. Uh, uh,
Are they building that,
tall.
or was that just
Yeah.
a
No,
concept?
it's
They had
under
to-
construction now.
No, they had to scale it back. They realized that they were too ambitious.
In over their head. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the concept is basically where you have this a somewhat narrow and then long edifice that is, I don't know, it's like 1,000 feet high or whatever it is, and then it's an indoor city of sorts, and so you live and you work, and then
Prison.
yeah, it's basically yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is.
There you go.
You know, it's a dystopian. Quite honestly, I think it's going to fall flat on its face, and it's interesting how people or China did the same thing with their. They got ghost cities. They took all of the money that they've been making through
Absolutely. I know about those.
manufacturing.
There's tons of empty buildings.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
So
I know about all that.
yeah. So you know,
All right. So actually, Eric, the thing you are trying to get at is that there is a substantial number of what we'll call empty houses in Connecticut that are not on the market and they're not occupied,
but they're owned.
but they're owned. Okay, and so no, it's like a second home, whatever it is. And the claim is there's about 150,000 of these throughout the state. My boss at the office said in his experience that sounds a little high, but that's the number that they're floating. So
Sure.
arguably that would be another area of opportunity.
Well, so you know Millbank Avenue here in town, right? So on Millbank Avenue, nearly all of the like old Victorian style houses are almost all gone, and what they've been doing is
Eric, what do you mean gone? What are they doing? Knocking them down, or
yeah, all of them are being torn. Like the people that lived in there, I guess they're elderly or the family, moves on, and then
correct? So the person that lived there passed away, and then nobody wanted to take care of the house, and the property's being sold, and they're knocking down the houses,
and then what they do
they're
is
rebuilding.
right, but what they do is they're taking that tract of land, and they're instead of a single family home being on that was intended for that tract of land, you got 6 or 7
Yeah, they're
people.
building multi-plots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's what happened that happened in Milford. But now, I mean, we do have an area that's called the Milford Historic Area, and you're not allowed to knock down those houses and then build and redevelop the area. You're not allowed to. At least
Right.
in Milford, they have this, and I believe in North Haven also. But I
Right.
digress.
But you, so, and they're, it's not, that they're not unattractive, or these particular buildings that they're putting up are unattractive, but it's just that they've just sandwiched them into, it's almost like a tiny little, they've made them into like these tiny, almost like little villages. They're kind of cool looking actually, but
It's the Truman Show.
well, yeah,
Have you ever
exactly.
seen the movie? And the
Yeah, of
houses are
course.
like, dunk,
Yeah.
dunk, dunk, right, and they
Yeah,
all look the
like
same.
cookie cutters, right?
Yep.
So where the Delia Honda dealership used to be, that's all been like raised now, and they're digging into the side of the
Really?
hill. Yeah, it's all
Oh,
gone,
Wow.
right next to the old Griffin Ford dealership.
Yep.
And so what they've done is they've knocked all that down, and they're going to put in luxury apartments or condos in there. And then there's been another proposal for like 100+ units, but it was scaled back to something like 60 or something like that. And they wanted to make it like 6 or 7 stories high, and it has to be
Eric,
like
what town is this in?
Greenwich.
Oh, Greenwich. Okay.
Greenwich,
So
yeah.
it would behoove you, Eric, to take the time, when you can find the time, to go to Greenwich and ask to see the town's master plan. Master plan is a forward-looking document that projects population, development, and all these other cool things out for the next 10, 20 years. And they're always updating it.
Okay.
The one for Stanford is 1,000 pages long. Crazy.
Yeah.
Look at the development of Stanford over the, my God,
Yeah,
3 decades.
I mean,
It's been insane. And didn't one of our governors come out of Stanford? And
That's Malloy.
was
Dan Malloy.
Thank you. That's it. Yep. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yep.
Yeah, so he's famous for the fight that he had with, can we say the name, Eric?
What was the question in
Uh,
court? Because you're very quiet, so it's hard to hear you.
The fight that then Mayor Malloy had with a certain establishment, Curly's Diner. You don't remember the fight with Curly's Diner?
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So this is kind of like you'll see this. There's actually a picture from China of a house that's sitting in the middle of a highway because, believe it or not, in China, that person refused to sell her house, so they just built the highway around her.
We had, well,
They call
Milford-
in China they call them nail houses.
Nail.
And-
Okay. All right.
in Milford, we had the chicken lady.
Okay.
They tricked her to get her out of her house, and then she came home and they bulldozed her house down. Look it up, Silver Sands. I
wow.
can't remember her name right now, but they used to call her the chicken lady. She said, you know what? She went and got a camper, and she had all her chickens that were laying eggs. She would not move. Look it up. I'll find out her name right now while you guys talk. Hold on.
Yes. All right. So the thing was that
She was a trooper. She was a trooper. She showed the government, you know what? Not today. Not on my watch. I'll get her name.
and that was the same for the people who ran Curly's Diner. They, there's going to be a time when the clock runs out on Curly's Diner, but not today. And so, so those those tall buildings around them, that was what it was all about. And Malloy wanted that lot where Curly's is to build another tall building, and they were having none of it.
Wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, you can see it, and they've, I don't know, it's just the whole vibe of Stanford is just, I don't know, it's
Well,
just
where do you want
completely.
to go with it? It's
Okay, her name was Doris.
Doris.
Yeah, Doris. I might say this last name wrong, but I'll just spell it Gagnon. was known as the Chicken Lady when she lived in a trailer at Silver Sands in Milford, Connecticut. So that's it. It makes me want to buy the newspaper, so I can only see the title. But yeah, she's no longer with us. But she was a really like they did everything to try to throw her under the bus and make her look like a bad person. She was far from it. She was just fighting for her land. And those of us that knew her, we all stuck and stood our ground with Doris because everything that the state did this. This wasn't the town that did this. This was the state that did this to her. And God bless you, Doris, if you can hear this. Okay, I digress again.
Not much. I mean, this is on topic in terms of the kind of crap that goes on. Anyway,
Right.
so can we talk about the flat sun?
Wow.
Hey, look,
Yeah.
look, Court. What's this?
Oh, it's the sun and it's flat.
There you go.
You had to get me going. I was calm all night. All night.
Okay.
I'm going to mute myself.
Okay.
Go ahead, Court.
Flat
let-
sun. We need the flat sun theory. Where is it?
Well,
I thought you were.
From,
I
Court.
I
This is
thought
my
you were.
first time ever hearing flat sun.
I
but
thought you
no,
were going. I thought you were going to opine on it and share
No,
with us.
Not at all.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I mean, I figure if you've thought about,
He's trying to get at me, Eric. He's trying to get under my in my underwear here.
yeah,
Right.
there you go. So yes, so
So,
just saying.
what shape are your eyeballs, Ricky?
He says what? Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Irene was talking to
It's
me.
okay. What shape are your eyes?
I don't know. I never really looked at them. I just know
Why
the
do
color.
they call them eyeballs, right?
No, we already went through this. Balls. I got balls hanging from my legs.
You got
Don't look like-
you got those
you know?
too, right? So, and what about your head? What's the shape of your head?
Eric, we already went down this road.
No, we didn't. No, this is
Yeah,
the
we
road
did.
we've not gone down.
Yeah, we did. I think it was like 2 weeks ago.
Right. The most
I don't know.
perfect. The
I
most,
call
mo-
it
the most
that color. I don't know. Where do you want to go with this, Eric? Why am I? Why
the
are you
most
playing-
the most
Hold on,
perfect
hold on,
ge-
hold on.
the
Hold on,
most
hold on,
perfect
wait,
the most
wait.
perfect the most perfect shape in the universe is
I know,
a sphere.
you're gonna say a ball. Okay, I know where you're going with this, but hold on. I want Court. Where did you get flat sun from? Are you muted, Court?
No.
Oh,
My own.
yeah, your mic is so low tonight. I don't know
All
why.
right. Anyway, so
Jason was right though.
so the point is, flat Earth. Why stop there?
Yeah, right.
So,
Something
man, I don't want to be going into this today. Let's go into like cool stuff. I don't want to listen. It's not. That's Dave Weiss's battle. That's his hill to die on, not my hill to die on.
Yeah.
All right. And I didn't learn any of this from David Weiss, by the way. It just happened that he was on a podcast. I never even knew about the guy. And this was like in 2023. It was like on SGT report.
Okay.
And
All
he said some stuff. And I'm like, holy crap.
right.
That's the same crap. Now, we weren't talking about flat Earth. It was more about the moon landings. I was like, yeah. And 9/11. 9/11 is another forbidden subject. Everyone gets pissed when you talk about 9/11.
I don't get upset about 9/11. I think that there's a lot of unanswered questions about 9/11.
Very true. Very.
So, but
I
here's
mean,
but here's the problem. You see, what happens is in order for this, I can't remember what the word is, but in order for for you to give credence or some kind of merit to conspiracy theories, you have to pepper the conspiracy theories with some, level or degree of truth. So there has to be some components of truth, like, aligned with it in order for
Well,
in
what-
order
what
for the
came out-
conspiracy to be credible or,
But
or
what was
plausible.
what was the final result that came out that they knew that they couldn't pass in 1995? The Patriot Act. So when it was all done and said, what did they pass on us? They put the
Right,
Patriot Act
exactly.
in.
Yes.
And they keep renewing this year after year
Right.
after year. Any
Yep.
president can easily just say no, and then all this surveillance shit is gone. Oh, I'm
Right.
sorry, I didn't mean to swear. I forgot we might be on the radio. I'm sorry.
No, I mean,
I heard you say an F bomb too, and I'll bleep that later when I replay this. But the
Yes,
the final result was they tried to push this in 1995, that Patriot Act during Clinton's years, and then nobody was having
I
it.
think
They're like,
that was during the time where I think the World Trade Center bombing. I think it was in the 90s, right?
yeah, that was 1993, Eric,
Okay, right. So
where they bombed the basement
right.
and they tried to take out one edge of the structure, which it did. They knew that the building was, what would you call it? Weak. Compromised. That's the
right.
word I was looking for. Thank you. And so, plus you had the asbestos insulation that was in there, and that all had to come out. And the building needed to be rewired for the internet and everything else. And it was so the building had become, and buildings, I should say, became outdated. Okay. They were no longer had a purpose. So, first of all, because of all the bad chemicals that were in those buildings, nobody was going to allow them to just blow them up and have that chemicals and smoke and everything go all over the place. And look at how many first responders were dead in 10 years from complications of the air. And then you had that freaky lady, I can't remember what her name was, but she was telling everyone 7 days later, the air is okay to breathe. The air is okay to breathe. I should have wrote down, I didn't even know I was going to go this way today, but I would have wrote her name down. And then, but there's a lot to it. And then the other one was, how did they know Building 7 was going to come down too? It's just standing there. Oh, Building 7 came crushing down. It's still standing in the background on a CNN report. They're like, quick, shut off that feed. Right? Shut that feed off.
Exactly.
Uh-oh. What happened here? Hold on. Sorry, guys.
well, I,
Okay. We're fine. No. It's not the government hitting me up now.
Looks
Shut
like
Richie
Monday.
off.
Looks like we're going to get a reprieve from a lot of this wetness on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah,
just
I'm
looking at
happy
the-
I don't have any shows this weekend. Like, this is a rarity for me to have a weekend off right now.
time-
Usually I'm like show
We'll
Wednesday,
have
show
to hang
like
out,
Thursday.
hang out at the marina.
No, I'm just happy. I'm just happy.
We got to get Rick.
Totally
Rick,
nugget around. I got to deal with.
We got to
Huh?
get the Rickster brow down to the marina.
I have a harbor. I just in Milford. If I want to go out there, Bruce Carrillo was like, "Hey, you wanna go race my sailboat?" I'm like, Bruce, it'd be nice to go do a Thursday night windjammer race, but unfortunately, I'm working. So I don't get a chance to go out there. I used to be out there all the time, and I do miss it. I really do. But since I've been married and everything else, I haven't raced a sailboat in 3 decades. So it is what it is.
Does Irene like sailing?
No, she got sick to her stomach when we brought her out there.
Okay.
Barfed off the back of the boat. Right?
There you go.
We had to drop her off at the first dock coming into Milford Harbor, and then I had to come back around with the vehicle. No, I got off with her, and then we walked up to Milford Center. So I had to go get the vehicle. She right off the bow of the boat, right?
Oh, God.
So I take it that doesn't have her sea legs yet. So
Well,
yeah.
she could handle the ski boat. So we used to ski on the. What's going on here? Hold 1 second, boys. Oh, nothing. Uh, we used to ski. Not her, but I used to ski over there on the Connecticut River over there in Shelton. That area that all got all washed away. Maybe was it 2 years ago? Remember that storm that came in late August? Early, yeah, it was late August, and it came in, and Oxford got wiped out.
Oxford?
Seymour got wiped out.
Oxford's not on the water.
Yeah, there's the route. I think believe it was Route 111 that got all. Yeah, it got wiped out. Not the whole town, just certain areas. Look it up. Seymour, definitely Seymour. Uh, that got a lady lost her life over there in Seymour. Washed away her car, and she never got out. And
It's in Oxford, Connecticut.
yeah, Oxford, Seymour,
Well,
the little parts of Derby, Ansonia.
Oxford's got to be at least 10 miles inland.
Yeah, no, it took out a maiden road. They had to rebuild everything out there, Court.
Wow.
And I was on a show with my friend, Kenny, and he lives off of Route 67 out there. We didn't have no idea. And all of a sudden I get a call from him, and he's like, "Hey, you're never going to believe this." And I go, "What?" He goes, "I can't get home. There's no road. There's no bridges. They're all gone." I was like, "What?" He goes, "I don't know what the hell happened out here." He goes, "It looks like a war zone." So,
That's funny.
And that was that. Oy.
yeah. I do, Eric. I really do. I do a lot of really cool shows. I was reflecting back with a couple of friends the other day, and I go, "Wow, I didn't even know like how crazy it is." Like, here I am mixing shows. We got 2,000 people in the audience, and you don't think anything of it. My only concern is making sure that band sounds just like the best that it can. Oh, Court, I forgot that I shouldn't lie about the Rum Runners, because you said, you asked me, are they a cover band? Yes, they are a cover band, but they also have their own albums. So they do covers in between their songs. For example, hold on, let me grab this.
Okay. Well, I know what you mean.
I know you're over here. Oh, here we go. I found it. Coming back. So this is one of their albums. I don't know if you can
Yep.
see this.
I'm running.
Yeah, there we go. All right, this is one of their albums, and I know you can't read what's in there, but it's very nice, because on in there in the production notes, there's my name, the studio engineer
Okay, there you go. All right.
of this particular. Hold on, yeah, oh, I gotta go like that. Of this particular album, so they did release another album, and I did release for them
Aren't you a member of the standing of
some live recordings. I just did and the cool thing is all these guys are seasoned studio musicians that have played on so many albums for other people. That's really cool. Like, I don't even know. Like, I just know them. Like, hey, yeah. Like, just kind of like talking with you or them. Like, I'm not starstruck. Some people are like, "Oh my God!" I'm like, I'm like, what? You know who you're sitting with? No, that's just John. What's the problem? Yeah, oh, that guy. I know that guy. I'm like, oh boy. It was like, oh, where were we? There was a place in Brantford. It's close. It's called The Stand. It was called The Stand, and it's in Brantford. And the kid that won American Idol was there to see one of the bands I was doing, and he's just hanging out, right? And my wife's girlfriend comes walking and goes, "Oh, do you know who's standing right behind you, behind the board?" I'm like, "No." Oh, Irene, stop.
Yeah, perfect.
She's calling me from the other side of the house. But yeah, cool stuff, man. And all right, I gotta shut the ringer off. She won't see. I'm telling you, she won't stop. Oh crap! I didn't want her number getting up there. Oh no, there's no. It doesn't show her number. Good. Here you go to the world. This is Crazy Irene.
Jeez.
She loves you.
She's like, you got the weekend off. You gotta spend it with me. All right, fine. I understand.
Yeah, well, all right. So it's almost been 2 hours, so we can sign off here and you go.
It was good talking with you guys. It was
Yeah.
interesting listening to the real estate battle that you guys were having. Things I never looked up, things I should look up and should know, especially with the amount of property. My stuff is a lot of commercial property, so I don't know how that pertains to what you guys were referring to. So,
Well,
You know,
my stuff is more about getting businesses
it's
into the
highly relevant,
spots.
You can be sure. The
Well, if you ever, if there are any like really cool gigs coming up, you know, I would be. My sister likes to go to concerts and stuff, and she lives in Norwalk. So,
Well, I'll let you know the next time I'm mixing a show at the Amp
okay,
in Bridgeport.
in the
Cool.
meantime, I sent you a link, Ricky.
Wait, just now?
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to be able to see that court.
All right, but it's.
I could see it after I sign off.
I'm just wondering if I can inspire you to consider the possibility of building a 1 million volt static generator.
I'll build you a Tesla coil. How about that? Then you can zap Eric.
Oh yeah.
When Eric gets under your skin, you go, Eric, watch this. Zap. There's $100,000, 100,000 watt shocker right at you.
right,
Volts, not watts, but yes.
right.
Oh, man, playing with electricity is fun. It really is. And I think that the majority of people don't understand how electricity works. They think that it's going in one way and you're sending it and it's going like this. And that's not how electricity works. It's
Go for it.
when you have the copper, let's say, I'm in the dark, so it's hard to show it, but you already have the molecules that are already there. All you're doing is just exciting the molecule at the end. And then it isn't like it's not shooting through the cable. You're exciting the molecules at the end of the cable. That's all.
Now, do they leave the cable?
What, Court? It's hard to hear you.
Do they leave the cable?
Yes. It's like having a bunch of marbles in a straw. So let's say this is a straw.
Mm-hmm.
This is already loaded up with all the molecules. All you're doing is just pushing another marble in here, and the other marble comes out this side of it.
Okay,
That's-
I accept that as a simple explanation.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep it like kindergarten 101, kind of for anybody that would look at this. So they might go, huh, okay, I'm getting an idea about this.
All right, so then
What's these copper bottle things? What am I on, week 3 now? I'll tell you what,
Yes.
they definitely do something to the water.
Yeah, and well, let me remind you, when your zinc copper ratio is out of balance and the copper part is too high, your risk of cancer goes up. Just wanted to remind you.
Yeah, only if you take the death shots.
No,
Ah!
just as long
Oh,
as it's-
speaking of cancer, did you guys see that video of the girl, and she looks like an absolute robot just going like this? And when they were talking about vaccine shots.
yeah, I wouldn't be. Yeah, there's so
Oh,
many reactions.
goodness gracious.
Yeah.
No. Oh, what's her name? She has, and it's funny, she's got the Burke's scarf on too, right?
God, of all people, you know. Anyway, so I think we got
All
it
right, boys.
tomorrow night. Tomorrow
It
right,
was
we're gonna
fun
call it
hanging
a
out
night.
with you guys.
we'll make it count. All right.
Have a good night, guys.
All right. So I guess
Good night, everyone.
you're controlling the sign off here.
Yep.
or-